What's up, everybody? G5 Productions in the place to be. Superman First Class in the mix. And today we're going to talk about the coronavirus 19 and how does it affect the DJ industry. Now, before we get into the conversation, I'm going to just let you know up front, I'm going to give you guys a lot of my opinions, my thoughts, theories, and I'm going to talk about 9 topics very quickly. And those are: 1, the world is affected. 2, you need to look at your contracts versus reality versus your emotions. 3, communication. 4, keeping up with the changes. 5, working your business plan. 6, networking with others in the industry. 7, waking up to what's going on. Number 8, cleaning, purging, and organizing gear. And number 9, the last topic I'll talk about, is clients being reasonable. So without further ado, the entire world is affected by this thing. Now, as you watch the news, and if you just drive around your neighborhoods or areas where you shop in your city where you live, you'll see a lot of changes. Restaurants are going to grab and go only. Cities are being restricted to limited number gatherings. Essential personnel are able to go to work while everyone else is encouraged to work from home and stuff like that. That is going to affect you by way of there's going to be cancellation of events, as venues are going to have to comply with city, county, or even the state rules for limited number gatherings. And that is going to cause a trickle effect with your clients, with other vendors involved in weddings or events, and of course you as a professional DJ. That brings me to my next point, which is you're going to have to recognize what's on your contract versus reality versus emotion. So I'll start with emotions first here on this part of the topic. You're going to be emotional. Your clients are going to be emotional. And what that means is people are afraid. People are in a panic. People are upset, especially at weddings if they're expecting all their family members to come and we have restricted travel that limits that or totally cancels that. That's the big day that they were waiting on. So they're going to be highly sensitive in so many ways. So what can you do as a DJ to not only help them deal with that, but also deal with your emotional side? Because I think a lot of DJs are going to be facing the fact that they may have to give refunds. And that's where your contract versus reality, you need to kind of take a look at, because if you don't, you're just going to be looked at as maybe all you care about is my money and not what I'm dealing with. This is a unique situation because dealing with the coronavirus is definitely not the same as dealing with, I caught my boyfriend cheating and the wedding's off. It's a different situation in normal circumstances. And so in those cases, play by how with your contract says regarding deposits and refunds and stuff like that, reservation fees, I should call them. And just take it on a case by case. But in this situation, again, goes back to topic number 1, the whole world is affected. And here's where you have to be more realistic about what's going on. So check yourself, but also at the same time, I would encourage you to deal with each case as it comes. And some things you may be able to do is offer postponements or change of dates for free. And maybe you could still, keep the contract as is, just at a different date. But again, situations are different. For me, I'm looking at definitely March right now, which is almost at the end, and April. That is pretty close. I'm just dealing with those immediately right now. But people calling me from May, June, July, talking about I need a refund, my event's canceled. That's a different situation because this whole thing could lift by April or whenever. So I that's just my way. I'm just giving you some ideas here. Take it as you see fit, but I'm just kind of, putting it in perspective on some positive ways you can deal with that. My next topic, number 3, communication is definitely a must between you as a DJ and the client, but also you as a DJ and the vendors. Here's where I'm going with that. Some vendors, like wedding planners, they pull us into this event. They recommend or refer us to the customer. So it is definitely a good idea to talk to those vendors and say, well, how are you dealing with this situation? What's going on, before you just talk directly to the customer, because your way of dealing with it may totally be opposite of how the wedding planner is dealing with it. And now you're risking not only putting a bad name between the client and yourself, but you could also put a bad name between the client and the wedding coordinator. So you need to be considerate of that. And with that being said, I think it's important to talk to the other vendors involved if you have any direct dealings or have been referred from those vendors to the client. Just see how they're dealing with it, which way they're going, and maybe you can match that vibe. If they are going to reschedule, then they may just say, yeah, I still want all the same team members because, you all vibe together in the same way. But imagine if say your wedding planner decides, you know what, I'm just going to give you a full refund, and you as a DJ decides, well, I'm only going to give you half the refund. Well, that not only puts a bad vibe emotionally between you and the client, but again, it's going to probably affect, the relationship between the client and that wedding planner, because they're probably going to think, well, you refer me to this guy and it's not even being fair or being right given everything we're going through. So you got to, just kind of put your thinking cap on with that. But I'm going to talk about that some more in another topic. Number 4, as a professional DJ in this industry or any part of the wedding entertainment industry, I think you definitely need to keep up with the changes. There are a lot of adjustments. This coronavirus 19 thing is new for a lot of people. There's a lot of skepticism, criticism, theories, whatever the thought process is out there. Bottom line is everybody has to deal with it, how they deal with it. So I think if you're smart, you would keep up with the news for updates. Maybe this thing blows over, see if we got finally getting closer to a vaccine of some sort. Maybe kids will be allowed to go back to school. Events may start to kick back in or whatever. So just keep up with what's going on, the changes. Talk to your clients, talk to other vendors that are involved in your events, and see what's going on across the board and adjust as you need to. This is a good time to work your business plan. One thing I know is when events are canceled or I have a gap in between when I'm performing, I try my best to use the time wisely, and working your business plan in this quiet time when you are not performing is a good thing. You can maybe take a look at the terms of your contract. Like if something like this were to happen again, how would you deal with it in the future? Maybe you could have a different kind of clause on adjustment to your refund policy. Again, it's new for all of us. We're all trying to deal with it, and we're all each going to deal with it accordingly. But this is a good time to take a look at contracts, terms, refund policies, and stuff like that. Now, I want to say this about the financial piece, right? A lot of people tend to get money. We call it living paycheck to paycheck. So just like people who work a regular 9 to 5, they get money, they pay bills and do whatever, and it runs out, and then they get paid again the next month, and they repeat, and it keeps going. That's living paycheck to paycheck. But as a professional DJ in the industry, how likely was it that we would all be facing this situation with the potential to be giving back all kind of refunds? So if you've already spent a lot of that money and don't have the capital to accommodate those refunds, your communication process is going to have to be even more impeccable with the clients, and hopefully they will understand until you get around to it. But that's something definitely to think about. Capital on hand as a business owner not only allows for you to be able to adjust to refunds, because in most cases we as DJs are not giving refunds back. It's usually canceled. Okay, I got your deposit. Thanks for considering us, and we both keep it moving as a business and as a client. But in this case, there's a unique situation presented itself, so you may have to just give a refund and understanding what's going on for all of us, because we're all affected. But the other thing about capital is there's always opportunity costs within business. A new gadget comes out, you may have to replace something that's broken. So if you don't have the money there, then you're going to be that person making loans all the time or using your credit cards all the time to make it happen. So that's something for you to consider and think about. And of course, as part of working your business, another key element is marketing. A lot of times we're busy with events, but when you have some downtime, it's a good time to take a look at your website, your social media, your overall marketing plan, and just, get some help. You've got time to do it. Because I think in business, especially sole proprietors or single operator type businesses, we all get caught up in that, busy, and sometimes too busy to work on certain elements of our business. Now is a good time to do that. Topic number 6. You should definitely network with others in the industry, not just DJs, but call around, talk to caterers, talk to photographers you may know, catch up. Everybody's kind of homebound, but for the most part, you have time now to talk to other people and see what their perspective is on it, right? I think for a caterer, for example, I know several caterers, they are more than likely are not going to give a client a full refund depending on how close they are to the event, because they probably already purchased food for that event. So that goes back to step number 3, where in their case, they're going to have to communicate and say, listen, I can do this within reason, but I did invest in food, and just have to work something out. I'm sure there's some clever ways around it. Catch up with fellow DJs, see how they're dealing with things, ask them questions. I know I've been asked, how are we handling cancellations, or are we talking to the customers, or are we giving refunds, like what are you doing, and stuff like that. And this is probably one of the most key parts of the 9 topics in this conversation. This is definitely a wake-up call. As I looked at my business model and everything that's going on with the possibility of like no gigs for a while, no events, booked for a while, even the cancellations. What I started to analyze was, where am I at in my personal finances? Do I have money? Do I have capital? Can my family and I survive if we don't have events booked for a long time? Opportunities to invest exist right now. How are we on our supplies in our home? Should I buy more gear right now, or should I not, or whatever? It's a wake-up call in so many ways, because the thing is, this thing affects both the DJ and the customer. And of course, it affects all of us directly within the family unit. So this is definitely a wake-up call, and you have to face the fact and the reality that, when a national disaster strikes, we are all going to have to adjust to it. Now, what are your challenges right now? What are some things that you may actually have to overcome to get through this as a professional? I say it all the time about personal finances, and I'm not going to go too deep into that part of the conversation, but I always say that you have got to think about, in the good times, what about the challenging times or the tough times? Recessions do happen. In this case, this is a outbreak of a disease, and so it's affecting a lot of people's health. And of course, you should definitely be thinking about when you are old. So when things are going well, build up some capital, build up some revenue, and be prepared for the storms. Not every moment in the DJ industry is a booming time. There are slow seasons, and we all know what they are if we've been in the game long enough. I want to move on now to topic number 8 of the conversation, which is a good time to clean, purge, and organize gear, right? I mentioned it a little bit earlier, but sometimes in the midst of performing, we're just drop, go, get it, gone, come back, sleep, rest, reset, prepare, go, market, emails, phone calls. In these downtimes, there are so many constructive things you can do, not only for yourself as a business owner, but within your families. But you can definitely take this time for organizing, cleaning things, purging things that you've probably been wanting to do anyway. But if you are bored and you find yourself just sitting around and just anxious with something to do as a DJ, and you're all tired of just practicing, but go clean, purge your gear. Get the microphones especially good, because you guys know during this time, we're not only concerned with washing our hands, overall hygiene and stuff like that, but things that we touch and transfer back and forth. So it's a good time to really sanitize. And topic number 9, this part of the conversation is for a client. You need to be reasonable, and I think that communication between client and a DJ or anyone in the wedding industry is the key. Now, with this part, I'm gonna just give you a couple of scenarios that I've faced and how I'm dealing with it. Number 1, when we get paid online, some of the merchants do charge a fee for that. If you want a refund, you could probably expect from at least me, when I do refunds, that merchant fee part, at least at a minimum, is going to be kept, because I'm not going to take a total loss. Remember, we are in this together, so you have to understand from my perspective as well as me understanding from your perspective. And so the communication between us two has to be within reason. If it's just the fee that I'm keeping, then that's at least fair, versus I'm going to refund the fee to you. I'm still charged the fee from the merchant, but I'm going to refund the amount of the contract and the fee back to you. Not happening. Another thing that I would like to discuss is, there were some venues that required DJs to go and recon. So you have to understand also, especially if you guys are out there demanding like a full refund, I want you as a customer to think about the time a DJ took out of the day to drive probably an hour or wherever away to do a walkthrough with you, probably a couple of times in some cases, or on their own drove to your venue, talked to the venue owner, did a walk around, reported back to you the findings and all that good stuff. That's still time, gas, out of the DJ's day. So for that, that's worthy of at least some kind of fair compensation. Again, you have to be reasonable and understand that in those cases, which is a case-by-case scenario, you may or may not receive a full refund during this time and during this season, just because of that fact. With everything that's going on, people are scared, people are panicked, supplies are running low, grocery stores are closing early, people are getting laid off. It's a lot going on. And for me, I'm secure if I don't do another gig all year long. If I never get to perform for the rest of 2020, I'm still secure. So is my family. As long as we can get food, gas, and the basic needs that we need to get around in life and navigate, we'll be just fine. But I do understand that there are lots of people out there who are not in that scenario, and jobs are laying people off, so they need the revenue, and so we're reasonable to that. But again, if you look at all of the topics that I've discussed so far. You know, it's a combination of really just communicating and working things out together because we are all in this together. So for you DJs out there, I hope this video offer you some things to think about and, you know, actually help you to adjust to the situation as it is. Remember, we're all in this together, the DJ and the customer. And I encourage you as a professional DJ to be professional, be reasonable as well, but also with hopes that customers, if they get a hold to this video, would also be reasonable and we can all work through everything together. I think, you know, everything that goes on in the world from time to time, recessions, disaster strikes and whatever, we as a people, we get through it, we rebuild and we move on. To summarize what I've discussed in the video, the 9 topics. Number 1, the whole world is affected. You need to recognize that fact and adjust accordingly. Topic number 2 was you need to take a look at your contracts versus reality versus emotions, yours and the clients. Number 3, communication with the clients and the vendors is definitely important. Number 4, keep up with the changes. Number 5, work your business plan. It's a great time to take a look at your contract terms, your business finance model, and your marketing model. Number 6, call other DJs, talk to them, call other people in the wedding, in the industry, and see how they're dealing with everything. If you're a club DJ, talk to your promoters. Number 7, wake up. Let this situation be a wake-up call. Number 8, we talked about an opportunity to clean, purge, and organize. And number 9, the clients need to also be reasonable as we are trying to be reasonable in this situation as well. So that's it. Let me know what you guys think. I'm always hopeful to hear from you. I'm curious on how you are handling refunds or dealing with the coronavirus situation as a DJ. Is business slow? Did it come to a screeching halt for you? What's going on in your world as a professional DJ? Before I get out of here, if you have any comments, just leave them down in the comment section below. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and of course turn on the notification bell so that you are notified when we put out new and amazing content. I'm Gerald with G5 Productions DJ Sound and Lighting, and if you want to know more about us, hit me up at www.g5productions.com. Let's party. Be safe.